Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Sarah. You can find me anywhere on Sarah of Horror, and I'm of course continuing with my 31 Days of Horror challenge where I review one horror movie every day in October. Otherwise I talk about movies, TV shows, and anything I find interesting to talk about here on my channel. But today I'll be talking about a very nostalgic film to me called Tales from the Darkside. Tales from the Darkside, it's from 1990. It's directed by John Harrison, starring Debbie Harry, Matthew Lawrence for the wraparound story. Okay, so in this one, we have this movie filled with 3 segments plus a wraparound story. And as I said, in the wraparound story, we see Debbie Harry, aka Blondie. Yeah. I mean, she has been acting in some movies, so I wasn't surprised about that at all. And in this wraparound segment, she plays a woman who is planning a dinner, a get-together for a few people. So she shops and she's getting ready. But it's the main ingredient that is super special. It's actually going to be a little boy that she has kidnapped and has locked in her little dungeon. And she's getting ready to prepare him. But he's like, no, here's this book. I heard it's your favorite book called Tales from the Darkside. Let me read you some stories. And she's like, you know what? Fine, we have some time. Go ahead. Amuse me while I'm preparing to kill you. So already there, I just love how this story began, how this wraparound story began. It was very cozy. It was just of the music. Everything was, I won't say nice, but you know, it's a horror film, horror story. But it was just a very nice beginning. And I've seen this movie so many times, especially when I was younger. But now I just rewatched it. Like, I finished the movie 30 minutes ago, wrote down all the things, and it's still a very cozy movie. As I said, I loved the beginning when I watched it the first time, and when it was revealed that was a little boy she was holding in her little dungeon thing. I was like, whoa, okay, this was spicy. It was interesting. And also, you know, the boy is smart. Reading her the tales. So we have to go into the segments, of course. So the first tale is called Lot 249, starring Christian Slater and Steve Buscemi and Julianne Moore. Yeah, so we have these very, very well-known actors, and I was especially happy to see Christian Slater, and he's one of my favorite actors, has been since I was like 12 when I first saw him in Heathers. Yeah. And so I was very happy to see him in this one. So we have Steve Buscemi, he is Bellingham. They all live in like a college dorm, and he has gotten this very big, very strange package called Lot 249. And Christian Slater plays Andy, who's kind of his friend. And then we have Andy's best friend Lee, who's also there, who's this kind of rich kid, maybe with questionable morals. And they go over to Bellingham and to see what this package is. So Bellingham shows the package, and it actually contains a real mummy. So yeah, I just love the story for this one, the script, and I liked that all of these segments they are filmed in like completely different like lighting. This one has a lot of this yellowish, darkish tint lighting, which I really liked. I thought it fit the story so well. And also we have the story about this mummy, and I love mummy movies, like, you know, the Mummy from 1932. Then we have the Brendan Fraser mummies, yeah. But this segment is definitely a good addition to the mummy movies. And just the look of the mummy, it's brilliant. I really liked it. And you know, the mum is just such an amazing villain, because it is kind of hard, because you know, it can be hard to kill a mummy. Like, they try to like stab the mummy, but it's already dead, nothing happens. And we also have these very creative kills. Yeah, uh, some stuffing going on, some braining coming through the nose. We don't actually see that part, but we do get to see some wounds, some gore effects, which is great. And I love the shot where we only see like some hanging feet and a lot of blood dripping onto that. I thought that was a gorgeous shot. And there were many like gorgeous angles, like panoramic shots. Especially there was one where we see a character walking. We know the mummy is like in the apartment, and then the camera just pans right through the mummy and continues on to the character. That part, beautifully done. And of course we have Christian Slater. He's amazing in this one, but I find him amazing in like everything. But it's just the way he acts, his voice, his mannerisms, just something. And yes, I was very happy to see him in this one, and I think he portrayed his character really well. And I think the dialogue like between him and Bellingham was very good. It was intense. There was this tension in this room, great atmosphere, and also like just a final shot. So good. I love the way that this story ended. Yeah, then we move on to the second segment, which is called Cat from Hell. And for this one, I have to see the names of the people. I'm so sorry. So we have William Hickey, Alice Drummond, and David Johansen. Okay, so we have Drogon, who has hired a hitman to come to his big old mansion, big old house, to kill a cat. Yeah. So this hitman, who thought he was being hired to kill some human, is actually being hired to kill a cat. So at first, of course, he thinks it's a prank, but then they kind of realize that this cat is actually very deadly. And you know me, I have a black cat, so of course, any story involving black cat or cats will be extra special to me. And remember when I said about these segments being filmed in different lighting, different cinematography? This one actually has a lot of like bluish tint instead, lots of dark blue, so it always feels like it's night, so to speak. And I thought it was really fitting for this story. It really kind of brings out the cat even more, makes the cat a little bit more evil. But yeah, also very creative kills in this one, and just the story of this lonely rich man who's lost some of his friends and is now terrified of this black cat. Yeah, I thought it was a very good story, and I think the hitman acted so well. Just from the way, from his confusion to his acceptance to his determination. Yeah, I think he portrayed all of that really well. But of course, then we have the cat. I just loved seeing the cat in every scene. So I think, yeah, this is another powerful, very like fast-paced edit, and yeah, it's never boring because, you know, the threat of the cat is always there. So I think this was another fun segment, and I enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed Lot 249. Okay, let's move on to the final segment, which is called Lover's Vow. Of course, in this one we have James Rimar, we have Ray Dawn Chong, and we have Robert Klein. So, in this one we have this artist, Preston. He has just been fired by his agent. Like, that is how everything opens up. He sits at a bar, and then it's closing time. The bartender helps him out of the bar because he's a little bit drunkish. And then the bartender gets killed by this horrific creature, which approaches Preston as well and makes him keep the secret in exchange for his life. To never tell anyone about this to a single soul forever. I was immediately intrigued by this creature monster. I thought it looked fantastic. And also, then Preston meets this gorgeous woman, and they immediately hit it off. They have an attraction. And, you know, just watching their relationship grow was very, very interesting. But we always knew there was something ominous there. And you know, it was also kind of good to see how Preston struggled with what happened with the bartender and everything that night, because you know, it couldn't have been easy to not say anything to the cops when he knew everything that happened. But yeah, I was just intrigued by this monster. It looked so cool. And also with Preston being an artist, he like expressed himself with like drawing this monster, but he couldn't show anyone. But I really like the drawings. They added a lot to this segment. But then also the way that this story just ends. I think this is my favorite ending out of all of the segments. I I just simply loved it. Yeah. So yeah, 3 good segments, and we have to, of course, talk more about the wraparound story because now we have finished segment number 3, and then it's time for the wraparound story to end. And I think it ended pretty well, pretty fittingly for this movie. You know, some stuff were a little bit, you know, you kind of could see it coming, but it it didn't it didn't bother me. So I'm always happy to rewatch this one. And I just wish there would have been lots more of these Tales from the Dark Side movies with these kinds of segments. So, what do I give Tales from the Dark Side? I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Yeah, so I'm giving Tales from the Dark Side 9 out of 10. I really like this one. So much nostalgia there for me. And of course, if you've seen this film, what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Comment something for the algorithm. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And of course, I'll be back here tomorrow with a new review. See you then. Bye.